With Escape from Tarkov Arena launching pretty much any day now, a lot of people have been wondering what effect Arena could have on the main Escape from Tarkov game, even going so far as to wonder if Arena could kill Tarkov. It's become a really common question in the community, wondering if Arena will split the player base of Tarkov and Tarkov will just slowly fade away. Now, I don't know any secret information about Arena or Tarkov, and this is all just my personal opinion, but enough people have asked the question that I figured it would be a good topic for a video, so let's dive right in. I personally do not think that Arena will kill Tarkov, and I think it could potentially have the opposite effect in the long run and bring more people into Tarkov, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong here, I am very excited for Arena, and I think that a lot of Tarkov players are as well. But in my head, there are three main reasons why Arena won't hurt Tarkov in the long run. Number one is they're aimed at different players. They've made it pretty clear that they want Arena to be a competitive and esports related game. There's ranked modes, tons of esports teams competing in all these tournaments that they're doing, and so much talk of other tournaments that they want to do as well. How effective they will be at capturing this audience is obviously still yet to be seen, but this is clearly aimed at bringing a new type of gamer into the Tarkov universe. I think it's easy to forget how niche Tarkov still is in some aspects. It definitely blew up a bit and tons of people play Tarkov, but not everybody is down for the hardcore kick in the nuts that Tarkov often is. And conversely, there are millions of gamers that still prefer hyper-competitive shooters like Counter-Strike or Valorant, and I'm sure from BSG's perspective, it would be really nice to be able to grab even a tiny slice of that pie. Also, at its base level, so much of the spirit of Tarkov isn't going to be in Arena. There's no stealing people's loot, hoarding stuff, finding rare items, or hunting things down for a quest. Of course, if you drew a Venn diagram of people who are going to enjoy Arena and people who are going to enjoy Tarkov, there's going to be a ton of people in the middle, but I think the core gameplay loop of Arena is aimed at a new audience. I will definitely be one of those people in the middle of that diagram, excited for both games, but that actually kind of brings me to my next point. It's not going to be one or the other, you're going to be able to enjoy each game for what it is. I think a lot of people are worried that if people who play Tarkov like Arena, then it's all over and they're only going to play Arena. I think there will be tons of reasons to play both games. Like I said, if you love that classic Tarkov experience, you probably won't want to quit Tarkov, but there will be tons of reasons to play Arena. It'll be a great place to warm up. I like to spend a lot of time in my hideout in the shooting range, just kind of practicing flicks and stuff like that before I start playing Tarkov. Arena could be a great place to just get into some super high octane PvP to kind of get yourself warmed up for Tarkov. If you're having a hard day in Tarkov where you're just dying to scavs or one taps all day, it could be really easy to just swap over to Arena with some homies and just kind of vibe. Also, and potentially most importantly, Arena will be a great place to practice skills for Tarkov. Now, obviously not all skills will transfer because a huge part of Tarkov is map knowledge and the maps are going to be different, but being able to practice PvP could be really valuable. Practicing close quarter strategies or comms with your squad or even just trying new gear really could help you be more proficient in Tarkov. The problem with learning PvP in Tarkov is the repetition and the loss that comes with it. You might spend 5 minutes gearing up, 6 minutes loading into a raid just to die within the first 60 seconds of that raid, and then have to do that whole process over again. And if you're dying all night long, you're continuously losing all your money and all of your gear. Being able to mindlessly PvP and learn from it in Arena will be huge. Also, Arena could be great in times like this, where we're late into a Tarkov wipe, maybe you got everything out of the wipe you wanted, and you can just swap over and vibe on Arena. I think it will be super viable to want to play both games, and both games will be kept fresh with people who swap back and forth. The third reason I don't think Arena will kill Tarkov is I actually think Arena could be a great on-ramp to Escape from Tarkov. They are really trying to make this a big deal, and Tarkov is already a pretty well-known game. A ton of really big streamers either keep their eye on Tarkov or have played it a lot in the past. And I think with Arena, so many of those huge streamers and probably a ton of more competitive streamers are going to try this out, which will give it a huge audience. There is always a huge boom whenever a game gets a ton of attention from big streamers in the space. Even outside of the streaming world, like we said earlier, this is aimed at a completely different style of gamer. I think a lot more competitive players and Arena shooter fans might just see this and want to try it out. When all of these new people come to try it out, it will be no secret that this game is related to Escape from Tarkov. They're even going to share a launcher. We also know a little bit of information about how these games will connect. Nikita has talked about how the characters between Arena and Tarkov will be connected, and there will even be items that you can find in Tarkov that would give you access to maybe special gear or something like that in Arena. If they're smart, they'll play the games off of each other to create hype for both. In my opinion, there is huge potential for people picking up Arena and then crossing over into Tarkov. There are also a lot of just regular people who maybe aren't into the competitive scene, but know of and even consume Tarkov content, but have never pulled the trigger on Tarkov because it's just too hardcore for them. I've interacted with a bunch of people that know and love what Tarkov is about, but just aren't sure if they want that type of experience yet. Arena might be a perfect place to start, learn the mechanics of Tarkov, and then migrate over to Tarkov later. It also might bring a lot of people who quit Tarkov back in the day due to its many issues back to check out Arena, and then they might get reinterested in Tarkov. Now, with everything that I just mentioned, of course, the inverse could be true as well. There might be a lot of people that only play Tarkov because it's the only game that provides a certain experience, and if Arena provides a faster and more distilled version of that experience, then maybe they will move over to Arena and leave Tarkov forever. This will surely be the case for some people, but my gut tells me that we will gain more people from Arena than we lose from Tarkov. If you've played Tarkov up until this point, you are probably addicted to the core gameplay loop of Tarkov that Arena doesn't have. Stealing other people's loot, the intensity that comes with the threat of losing everything that you have, and the dopamine hit of filling your stash with loot are all experiences Arena won't be able to provide, and I think most Tarkov players are going to want that feeling back. Ultimately, we're just going to have to see how it does. Like I said, this is all speculation on my end, and my perspective could be way off here. It also hugely depends on how the launch of Arena goes. It could be hated by that competitive esports scene, it could launch with server issues or balance issues or any number of things that could make it bomb and basically be a non-issue. Or it could be amazing and bring tons of new people into Tarkov. Nobody really knows. I do think right at launch will be when Arena has the biggest impact on Tarkov because it's new and shiny and looks fun, and Tarkov players are really looking for something new right now. But only time will tell its true impact on Tarkov long term, and with a huge Tarkov wipe coming right around the corner, I think a lot of people will be back pretty quick. I have hope that these two games will synergize really well together and be a great way to introduce people to Tarkov. But I want to know what you think. Are you excited for Arena? Do you not really care that much? Do you think Arena will kill Tarkov or breathe new life into it? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you like this video, think about dropping a like or subscribing for more content like this. I stream Escape from Tarkov about 6 days a week over on my Twitch, which will be linked down below. And also, if you're looking for people to play Tarkov with, or maybe Arena with here pretty soon, our Discord is a really awesome place to be. That link is down below as well. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will definitely see y'all on the next one.